And now another episode of Donny Boast Weekly Football Flash with your host, Donny Boast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have returned after a brief hiatus here on the Donny Boast Show due to a couple of unforeseen circumstances. As John Lennon once said, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. But all is right and well again in football land, Donny Boast land, and hopefully around the world. We are back, and the NFL is back from its slumber. We are in the home stretch here with only a few games left to play. And the good news is there are 5 teams who are contenders. The bad news is there's only 5 teams who are contenders. Now, some might say 6, and that 6th team we begin with is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who are they? What do they want to do? How do they want to do it? Will they accomplish it? That is the question. They have been playing very lazily all season. Not really playing up to par against teams that they should be thumping. They are playing with a lack of emotion, and they are playing very sloppy at times on both sides of the ball. That being said, they are the surefire number 2 out there in the AFC. Of course, the number 1 in the AFC always and forever will be the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, who are dominating once again after what could be considered a slow start. They are now 10-2 into the proverbial home stretch, and of course an 8-game winning streak that doesn't seem to end anytime soon. We'll see what happens when they face the Steelers here in a couple of weeks. The AFC West, on the other hand, is an absolute debacle. When we thought the Raiders would make a comeback at the end of the season, it is clear they are not worthy of doing anything. The Raiders are a dumpster fire at this point, but the good news for the Raiders is so are the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are abysmal. The Chiefs have reignited the idea that they are the proverbial almost think you kind of did it and then you're going to let it down later. They have a real front office situation going on there. It seems to be a problem for them. They don't seem to identify with their roots of being a defensive-oriented team who likes to run the football. We don't know who the Chiefs are anymore. They're all over the place and in big trouble. Meanwhile, the artists formerly known as the San Diego Superchargers are on an upswing. My goodness, they are playing ferocious defense, and of course, Phillip Rivers, the old man, has got things moving on the offensive side. Ken Wisenhunt is helping out with that, and they're doing a really good job out there. It's really exciting to see what this underdog, who we had written off from day one, is doing. Now in the AFC, they're playing with nothing to lose, a ferocious defense, and they can give the Pats or the Steelers a run for their money. Again, always be aware of the team with nothing to lose in the playoffs. The Cleveland Browns are 0-12. The Cleveland Browns most likely will finish 0-16. The Cleveland Browns should be kicked out of the league. The Titans are 8-4 somehow, but they're still not the consistent powerhouse that you'd like them to be to really make a strong playoff run in the AFC. The Jaguars, on the other hand, are really a quarterback away, and rumors of Eli Manning joining the squad would bode well for them next season. That defense is pretty good. The Texans unfortunately floundered after the loss of Deshaun Watson. Hopefully they can make it a comeback next year. But the real news, the real excitement, and the real stories are coming out of the NFC, where we have 4 teams playing fantastic football. You would never believe it unless I told you. 4 teams playing amazing, lights out, hard-nosed, good football. They are the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Minnesota Vikings, as well as those pesky upstarts, who dat, New Orleans Saints. Wow. Any one of these teams can give any of the AFC teams a run for their money. The NFC playoff picture is going to be the best we've seen it in a long time. And chasing the wild card in the NFC, we have the Seahawks, who are always trouble at home. And I think they're the only ones that are really worth looking at as a possible upstart upset, because Russell Wilson, of course, can make things happen. The Panthers, no. We've seen now Peak Newton, he's done. And we don't think the Lions are worth anything. Of course, the Packers, with the loss of Aaron Rodgers, shouldn't be formidable or even make the playoffs. So it really comes back to those 4 teams that we're looking at out there in the NFC. And they're just playing great ball across the board. We love what McVay is doing with the Rams. We love what Peterson's doing with the Eagles. And of course, the Vikings have a Super Bowl defense. And Case Keenum, of all players, has really stepped up and made the Vikings a mistake-free offense that they need to be to give that defense a chance just to flat out dominate. Really cool stuff. Meanwhile, the Saints, who dat? Who are they? They're playing defense, they're running the ball. And when you have a coach like Sean Payton and a quarterback like Drew Brees, if you can get them into the playoffs with the type of running game that they have, and the excitement that they have now, and a home field advantage that they may get. Everyone's vying for home field advantage here. Let's not forget that. The Saints 9-3, the Vikings 10-2, the Rams 9-3, and the Eagles 10-2. And these teams are all going to end up playing each other here at some point. The Saints already lost to the Rams. The Eagles will play the Rams this week. And just exciting stuff. I can't emphasize it enough. Very much looking forward to how this season wraps up. And we will be joining you again more regularly once again here on the Donny Boast Show. So as we say always, see you next time.